Nelson Show on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL radio and live around the world on WOLDCnews.com.
And thank you for joining us again, folks. Later, one of our power talkers, Professor Leonard Jeffries, Dr. J, will hold another class, this time on the role of economics in the development of civilization and what it means in the era of Donald Trump. Before we get to Dr. J, another one of our power talkers, social activist Dick Gregory's here, helping us to analyze whether Dylan Roof, who was convicted of the murders of the Charleston Nine, is stone cold racist, or is he crazy, or both? Greg, welcome back to WL Radio.
God bless. God bless. Peace to you, and thank you for the show, man. So many people got something to listen to, and it drops a lot of that fear. But we in this country is at the same place where the Jews was and the gypsies before it all collapsed. That's what fear do. And if you get somebody on the show one day that understands what fear do to the mind, then you see this, and they can put anything past you. That's what pickpockets do, man. They learn. You always out there listening. You know, pickpockets in the old days were called the soft touch. They got 1,000 muscles in your hands that you don't use. They developed that. So you think they just pickpockets. You looking at Trump and all that and thinking he's just an ordinary. No. Hitler. See, we just hear about Hitler. We hear about the SS troops, but some of you out there heard of the SA troops. That was that elite group of homosexuals that put him in power, and he killed them all. Okay? And that's where this is going. Huh? That's where this is going. But because young folks don't know that much about Hitler and all of that, and all the stuff. Hitler didn't just rise up. Hitler came to power with 288 votes. That's what you get for voting for the lesser of the evils. And if my mama was alive, I think she knows enough now, because some people will vote for one or the other because they didn't know. But there's a lot of people voted for Hillary because they were scared of Trump. For Trump because they were scared of Hillary. Anytime you vote for the lesser of the evils, Carl, you got evil in you. Okay, you can play all the games you want. All them decent folks didn't know they was putting a monster in. You got two monsters. Which one you going to take? You got one guy that rapes a child every 6 weeks, and another rapes one twice a year. So you're going to take the lesser of the evils to take care of your children. And the other thing we got to understand, the church didn't make a kneecap, huh? The church didn't make a toe. The Pope was here last summer. He had sciatica so bad, he couldn't hardly walk. So I'm going to let him wash my feet? There's a universal God. That's what happened when they take the pagan religion. The pagan is just like Catholicism, paganism. Then they switched it around. And so all at once now. So let me get back to what you just said about this youngster down there. First, there's a whole lot of people that don't know. And let me say this again now. Ferguson, we all looked at Ferguson. Now, this is something you all can do. You can pull this up. Pull up when he was coming out of that cigar store. And he was pushing that little short guy that was security. Look at the picture. He had on flip-flops and short pants. 15 minutes later, he laying dead in the street with long pants on and Nikes. Now, why you miss it? Because the network's got to be part of it. I'm sitting here, and I can see it, and all them people out there, but when you see it, they telling you. It's like going to a boxing match. They tell you what you see. You go to a football game, they tell you what you see. That's why they can throw games and trick games. They telling you what you seeing. And what you seeing is not what you seeing. And so consequently, when he came out of there, now, the one guy, Johnson, became world renowned. He had his hands up. Well, let me tell you something. And I'm telling you this here. I wouldn't tell you if I couldn't let you prove it, because it's so odd, you know, and to protect you who's scared, you think anything of somebody else just putting the truth down. But I learned a long time ago, truth don't have to be validated by ignorance. Okay, it's that simple. I had a mother in the house that told me Santa Claus was a white man and she was buying the toy. Jolly old Saint Nick. I've heard that all my life, but nobody explained it till I did my own research. And I found out Mr. Nicholas was probably the wealthiest man in Europe. And during the winter solstice, okay, he gave all his money away. And that's how Mr. Nicholas became Saint Nicholas. You got folks ain't never been saints, okay? They made him Saint Nicholas, so we put it around, and we almost look at him like Santa Claus helper. And then Santa Claus, where'd he come? He's a chimney sweeper. Back in those days when that was invented, we didn't have fuel. People built houses, but they used wood from trees, and that left soot in the chimney. And that's why Santa Claus go up and sweep the chimney down. That's why they got him coming through the chimney. But there's another system that's in your head that's a chimney there. And I'll get to that in a minute. And so what I'm saying, they put it right out in front of you. Now, and Carl, this is what you ought to do. You have somebody there, have them pull the grand jewelry. And when the grand jewelry came up, hold on 1 second. Hey, Doc. The grand jewelry came out. Now, I went there. I told Martin Luther King, Joe Massey, man, we better get out of here. Something ain't right. Something's not right. Now, I've never seen, long as I've been in demonstration, I've never seen 24-hour demonstrations as a festivity, and then run down. If that's Christian down there. See. Hear me now. Or I have somebody that was there, tell you 24 hours a day, man. They was riding around in their cars with their children with them. Women was walking down the street, pushing their babies. Just festivity. I said, man, I've never seen anything that have affected a group of people like this have. Now, at 8 o'clock, the violence starts. That's not the people. It's them thugs, them provocateurs that come in. Okay? Now, here's what happened, Carl.
Now, we're still in Ferguson, right?
Ferguson. So
right.
Here's what happened. The district attorney that handled the grand jury, you know, he didn't know that there's never no violence till after it get dark, and he picked the time to come to the street and release the grand jury finding. Come on, Carl. I mean, I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm saying, wow, had I not been there, I wouldn't have known. But I was there. And I've never seen such joyous in my life. And then I'm saying, well, why is he picking this time of night when he could have done it at 12 noon? So now, here's what he said, and you all need to see this. We know y'all be talking that yuck talk because you're scared and don't even know you're scared. But look at it for yourself. Nobody have to tell you. And listen what he said. See, when Johnson, his friend, that all the movement got started around the world, he had his hands up. He had, Tom, don't shoot. His hands is up. Well, let me tell you who that punk is. And you can look at it. When I saw the FBI put him in witness protection, I said, oh, wait a minute. That's not a federal crime. Why is he in witness protection? What are they protecting? Okay? Now, most people, listen, don't even know he was in witness protection. Okay? Now, all at once now, when he reads it, and everybody said he was found out, even the black folks on the jury. So we so busy calling somebody Uncle Tom and all this. And so what? You don't call white folks no names. You get on the show, I hear you talking. Call, it's Uncle Tom, so-and-so's Uncle Tom, so-and-so's doing this here. Well, let me tell you. Here's what the DA said. He said, we had a very good authority and a respected black person in the community. Johnson. He told us he was lying. He told that to the grand jury. So y'all sit with your fear. That's how Hitler come to power. You're so busy, and I'm not saying this being mean. I'm saying you're so busy and don't know NBC, CBS, all of them is part of the trick, okay? I know that Kennedy didn't die in Dallas, but NBC and CBS don't know it. Here's a man, the most powerful man in the world, shot down. Hold on 1 second.
All right, we're speaking live with Gregory. And let me just say this. If you're in the D.C. area, Greg's going to be at the D.C. Improv tonight. And that's 1140 Connecticut Avenue. But he's sold out. I don't know why I'm telling you, because he's sold out. You can't get tickets.
Don't even try.
Right.
Sold out for like 3 months.
But he's going to be coming back to town next month with Paul Mooney, and we'll tell you more about that, because I know he's got a matinee show, so he's only going to be on for a little while today. But Greg, why don't you finish up?
Let me just tell you how it works real quickly. So, all at once now, I know that King didn't die on the balcony, okay? So I'm that smart. No. Everybody covers it up. Did you ask yourself a question? King is laying on the ground, and 5 people standing there pointing. Well, wait a minute. How'd they know it wasn't going to be another shot?
Right. Hold that thought right there, Greg. We got to check the traffic and the weather in the DMV. I'm sure the folks want to find out where the traffic is, so they're going to Connecticut Avenue on Northwest. Join us, folks, after the traffic and weather update on AM 1450 and FM 95.9 WOL, where information is power. With us, folks, our guest is social activist Gregory. As I mentioned, he's got a matinee show in D.C. tonight at the Improv. It's the one on Connecticut Avenue, Northwest. But he's sold out, so don't try to even go and get tickets. But he's going to be back in town with Paul Mooney next month, and we'll tell you about that. We're going to get to Dylan Roof, the man who was convicted, young man who was convicted of the Charleston 9 murders, and find out your thoughts, if he's stone cold racist, crazy, or both. But Greg, let's go back to your story on...
I'm taking you this way, so when I get to what happened, now, here's what happened in Ferguson. The guy who read the grand jury report, prosecutor, he said he lied. Well, how come I'm the only one who heard that? Y'all didn't hear it? And you got to say, wait a minute. Would I lie to you? Would I lie to you? Why? There's no reason to lie to you. But people who do have a reason to lie to you, they'll lie. But all you got to do, I'm telling you something that ran over and over and over and over. Now, how come you haven't heard from Johnson no more? Here's the guy that's what the movement got started for. Black Lives Matter. They came and put millions of dollars behind that movement because of what he said. You know, don't shoot, his hands was up. I know that? No. I got the same eyes that the universal God, not the church, the universal God gave everybody. Queen Elizabeth is the richest woman on the planet, but she don't have no more toes than you. Her fingernails don't grow under the bottom of her feet. Everything. But we get mixed up and talk all the stuff, then they come and manipulate. So let me just finish Ferguson, and then we'll go to the question you asked. So now, Ferguson, have you asked yourself, how come? This movement started because what he said, you ain't heard nobody. This year passed, last year passed, you haven't heard nobody mention him. They talk about dead ball players that died 50 years ago. But this man, nobody. And if you looked at that movement, there's white folks, when they march, and all y'all got to do is check it. When they marched in New York City over that killing, they marched on FDR Drive. That's white folks. They never went to Harlem doing the march, and they haven't gone now. They haven't gone to all them people that's been killed. They went all over the world. They didn't march in Africa. What do you think that means? We're so busy with racism and all of that. You don't see it. Okay? So all you got to do is check it out. And so again, I'm saying, then that night, Johnson's friend, the one that said he had don't shoot, his hands was up. His friend was hanged worse than anything have ever happened in the South. Right 2 blocks from where the rally was, listening to what the grand jury is going to say. 2 blocks. You know how many cops was there? State troopers, federal troopers, because they didn't know if it was going to be a riot or not. And 2 blocks, man. They killed him brutally, put him in a car, set the car on fire the same night. And nobody knew about it but and I'm shocked the Washington Post wrote it and talked about there's never been a lynching that we could describe to equal what happened to his friend that night. Okay? And so again, I'm saying, when you sit there, how come we didn't know that? He's the one that said his hands was up, and yet and still his best friend was killed that night. And all the cops was there, and nobody talked about it. And so again, I'm saying, when you sit and look how they can change stuff. When Trump came up and called Senator from McCain, all you got to do is Google it. McCain is the biggest rat, liar, disappointing point, and everybody, I know it, NBC don't know it. I know it, presidents don't know it. Let me tell you something. He wrote a book. His daddy was an admiral. He wrote a book. He got shot down in North Korea. Okay? They captured him, had a broken leg. He made a deal. He said, if you take me to the hospital where you take your people with money, I tell you everything. This is John McCain, okay? All right? John McCain. Now, all you got to do is get his book where he apologized to his daddy, and you think about all them people. Now, here's what happened. When they was going to bomb Hanoi, you know, it was the Americans was coming from an aircraft, and everybody was waiting for them to come straight there. What they would do, they'd come off, make a left, and go 300 miles out of the way, then come back and circle them. McCain was the one that told them how they did it, and that next day, death to American pilots increased 77%. Okay? That punk that sits around and talk all that crazy talk, NBC don't know it, New York Times don't know it, the military people don't know it, and all you got to do is get the book and see where he apologized for what he did, and all of that. He comes back a hero because they covered it up because they got to use him for something. But we can see Trump because ain't nobody covering it up. They covering up the real Trump. What they letting you look at is the shadow. Okay, anytime you see Trump in the red tie, that's him. Anytime you see Trump and got another color tie on, that's the clone. But y'all can't even get into that. You know how to cook barbecue ribs? Huh? you know how to make Kool-Aid? But the truth, look in the Bible, see if you see barbecue ribs, Kool-Aid, cocaine, beer. It talks about prayer and fasting and be still and listen. Oh, that's there. When you say you're blessing, go look at yourself when you say you're blessing tonight when you eat. You pray for everything but the whiskey. Something told you I'm not supposed to drink. You ain't pray. You ain't said no blessing, no Thanksgiving. The Indians taught us Thanksgiving. Abraham Lincoln made it a day of fasting. But the Indians taught, how many of y'all prayed for Indians? And you folks in Washington, D.C. run around with all that old Indian crap on, all that Indian crap. Let me tell you, millions of black folks ran away from slavery. And they went to the Indian reservation. And the Indians wouldn't let the white folks come in and get them. And your thanks is running around in some Indian crap. Okay, so let me just say this here. So that's what happened there. St. Louis cops is 1 billion times worse than the cops in Ferguson. You don't know that? After the Ferguson shooting went down, 2 days later, they killed 2 people in St. Louis. Nobody talked about it. And so again, I'm saying, and so as we work our way now to that trial that's going on now, the unit bomber, huh? All them folks. The bombers and those are the same federal people that come in faking like they just judges. That's so they can't talk. That's so they can't tell you. They go in and say, look, we see to it you won't get the death penalty. We're against the death penalty. So they can't say nothing. They still squabbling now today that we don't think he's fit to, how fit you got to be when you're fixing to get the death penalty. I hope he don't get it. How you going to be for death penalty for some, but not for another? That's like you're against a black person being lynched, but a white person or a Chinese person, oh, that's different. So all of us is fixing to pay the price for it. And so again, let's go to San Bernardino, okay? All them people was killed there a week before Christmas. Not 1,000 people, not nobody made a cell phone call. You didn't hear one cop. You didn't hear one ambulance. You didn't see nobody interviewing anybody, huh? Look at one of the fine names on the planet. I don't know him as a human being. Oh, one of the fine entertainers. Okay, he was killed, and they diverted the plane to a little plane 40 miles out of Chicago. When you're in an airplane call, 400 miles or 40 miles is the same. How come he didn't go 40 miles to the right and land that plane in Chicago? Now, here's this little bitty hospital. Oh, we so busy moaning. Oh, he was alive. You know what I'm saying? One newspaper man, person, woman, come in from around the world and interview people in that hospital or show you a picture of that hospital where they had Prince. You saw him the night before in Atlanta, that one-man show. He did two of them. Did he look tired? Did he look sick? And then all at once, the next thing we hear, he's on a charter plane. But what they didn't tell you, who is the charter plane owned by? Huh? Warren Buffett. Huh? That was his plane. Okay? But he goes around as to find this powerful plane that they said hit the World Trade Building. Oh, we stupid enough to be some little punks. Huh? Little punks. All they got to do is say Arab, and you already, that's like you say, black person, and you ain't even supposed to get a fair thought. They hit, look, Carl, if you in that plane and you flying it, that plane's going over 700 miles an hour, the World Trade Building look like a toothpick to you, okay? That's what it looks like, okay? Now you tell me they all hit them build on the first strike, and then somebody said, well, how'd they learn how to, oh, they didn't, they just learned how to use the simulators. Okay, well, let me see who made where they went to Florida, huh? The simulator place where they teach pilots how to fly. Who's that owned by? Warren Buffett. Okay, I don't expect you to know this. I don't expect you to know it at all. I know it, but NBC don't know it.
Oh, hold on a second, Greg. We got to take a quick break here. And we get back to Dylan Roof and whether you folks think he's crazy or just a stone-cold racist. Your thoughts. 800-450-7876. We'll take them after this short break on AM 1450 and FM 95.9. WOL, where information is power.
Back to the Carl Nelson Show on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL Radio.
And thanks for staying with us, folks. We're going to get back to Dick Gregory, but then we're going to talk about Dylan Roof.
Okay, here we go.
Because, Greg, I know you got to, I don't want you to miss your show, be late for your show today.
No, let's talk about it. And I wish you had somebody sitting next to you that could Google so they could see. That church is where Juneteenth was invented, huh? That church celebrated June the 15th, 16th, and 17th. That little punk white boy that have no education drove 100 and some miles, and nobody asked, how did you know this was the church where Juneteenth was invented? Starts on the 15th, ends on the 17th. You did the shooting on the 17th, okay? How do you know that? And how come ain't nobody talking about it, huh? Now, watch this now. He goes in. Any of y'all out there ever been to a black church? You go with a friend, but you a stranger. I dare you to get close to that preacher. Here's a white boy sitting next to him, and nobody's thought anything was wrong with that. He walks in and he says to a black woman, and went all over the world, don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to leave you to tell the world what happened. What? Well, you crazy. Most folks leave a note, huh? Most folks leave her no. I'm gonna leave. So he reloaded 5 times, and she's still there. Huh? Now, I don't know what kind of black woman she was. I've been around black women all my life. And you're gonna sit down in a circle and kill folks, and she didn't run. Can I tell you something else you need to Google, Carl?
What's that?
It was a black woman. Went all over the world. She said, I told my grandson, 6 years old, to play dead. You remember that story?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know she was killed, the black woman?
She was killed.
The woman who told the world.
Right.
I told at the church, the woman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I told my grandson to play dead. She was killed. Nobody asked the question, well, who told about her she was killed? The 6-year-old had a press conference? Huh? You ever been around a child and all that shooting and screaming is going on and you think that child gonna play dead? See, that's what fear do. Okay? You defy gravity. To this day, nobody has said, how did that get around the world? Okay? And so what I'm saying is when you sit and look, you look at what happened in Baltimore, get right back, where the black woman came out and was whooping her child. Hey, do you understand motherhood? If the black child steal your car and the car hit a tree and it's on fire, you ain't gonna go there and whoop him. You're gonna get him safe. In the middle of the ride, she's whooping him. And nobody said, wait a minute, hold it. And she's on Time magazine, and then somebody found out something. Oh, they thought she was going to be the woman of the year. And they found out what really went down. You ain't heard no more about it. So if you go there and watch what in that church. Now, he came into the parking lot, parked the car. Okay? Oh, wait a minute. That church had, how come we ain't never seen the cameras of him pulling in? Huh? How come we've never seen it? How come NBC and none of them have asked for the car as it pulls in? So he goes in, has a conversation, sit down, everybody's there, and all at once, so I called a newspaper down there, a black one. I said, hey, Dr. Gregory, yes, it's an awful thing here. I said, well, let me ask you something. What time did you hear about it? He said, oh, about 11 o'clock. I said, you know how early that was? I said, I mean, are you all black paper because you can't afford to watch stuff? He said, the white paper didn't hear about it till the same time. Oh? Oh? Are you serious? So this is what's there. I don't expect you to know it. Carl, if you're a brain surgeon, I don't expect me to come and talk to you about brain surgery, but there's simple stuff. I noticed you didn't wash your hands before you performed the operation. Okay? I noticed you didn't do this, huh? And so what I'm saying is that when you stop, they got everybody talking about the black neurosurgeon that ran for president. He ran 9 months and never mentioned that what he pulled off had never happened in the history of the planet. They had separated Siamese twins, but never the head ones, huh? Never the head ones had they separated. He wasn't even in the room when that happened, okay? Wasn't even in the room when that happened.
You talking about Ben Carson?
Yeah, he wasn't even in the room. And just to cut it short till we get back, here's a man that pulled off something that had never been pulled off in the history. He's never been nominated for a Nobel Prize. If you're nominated for Radio Show of the Year, it's 10 other people that's nominated with you. He had never been nominated. We're not talking about got a Nobel Prize for medicine, huh? It never happened. What happened was a team of Germans, 87 of them, had been doing those operations and failing. They said, look like we got it straight now. We need one more. And that's when they pulled this guy. Somebody Google the operation that happened. That guy was kidnapped from South Africa, a black man. So it wouldn't look like it was a racist thing. Okay? They get a black man in there, a brother. Okay? And so everything is cool. And then he got so crazy when he went to President Obama's prayer vigil. You remember when he said Obamacare is worse than slavery, Carl?
Right.
Did you know when he got back to Johns Hopkins, he was fired? Fired. They had already paid him to do the commencement address. Johns Hopkins. They said, keep the money, just pack your stuff and get out of here. Okay, so this is what it is. This is white folks' business. And you bring a white person on and see if you can find one quickly and know how to cook chitlins, okay? That's our business, huh? They're talking about you got rhythm. What kind of rhythm? Blues. Do you know what it's like if you got a son, ABCs, kept repeating ABCs, and all at once he learned it. And next time I see you and him, you put him in college, huh? Well, wait a minute, Carl. ABC, you sang the blues when you 9 years old, my baby done left me. The blues. Blue Monday. I wonder how many people get killed or something happened bad on Monday. You've been singing Blue Monday. What makes that Monday blue? And so again, we go back to what happened there. And so all at once now, when the black press guy called me, now I called him, and then found out, well, we ain't hear nothing about this here. I said, you mean something, the biggest story in the world, and might be the biggest story this year, and y'all there, and the news didn't break till 11:30. Did anybody see? Carl, I was in L.A. the other day. A Google car picked me up, and they said, I heard you saying something about 9 months ago, where you said all them people in the building celebrating, nobody made a cell phone call. He said, well, I was working right down the street at a car, selling cars, and the FBI and federal agents came in and showed us a picture of 3 men dressed in army fatigues and say, this is who we looking for. And then when it come out, it's a man and his wife, okay? And so again, when you put the aura out there, people come to you. And they tell you things, and they can't trick me, because all I got to do is pick up the phone. I mean, when Malaysian Airlines disappeared, you all crazy. Talk about these children with their pants below their butts. But you believe with all that hardware that's why Trump is crazy as he is. He knows something happened to Kennedy. He don't know no more than I know. He don't know no more than the NAACP, than the NBC and them. But they ain't going to tell it, okay? All you got to do is ask the question. When somebody listening, say, well, wait a minute. When John McCain wrote the book, I got the book. You mean Trump didn't bring the book to show it? Oh, that's part of the game. Oh, that's part of the game, Carl. They spend trillions of dollars. What we going through now started being legislated under Harry Truman. And when that little thug punk, our new president, when he said so-and-so is lying, politics have never been, all you got to do is go back to 1948 when the headline said, Harry Truman lost to Dewey, and then 12 o'clock that morning, the headline changed. He won in Chicago. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. I'm not a prophet. I sound like a prophet because when I ran for president in 1968, Wall Street Journal, November the 7th, that's 3 days from the Tuesday, which was Friday. No other paper ran what I'm fixing to tell you now. All the computers were shut down at midnight because it showed Dick Gregory, the presumed elected president of the United States. Why? Because the computer spit out that Dick Gregory got 9 million votes in the state of Pennsylvania, not all over America, 9 million votes in the state of Pennsylvania. And once them numbers came, they couldn't stop it, so they had to shut the count down.
Right.
Okay.
Greg, we got to let you go because I don't want you to be late and we got to take a break. So this is a good time to let you go. You know what the traffic is like going out there?
Huh?
Yeah, because you got to fight that traffic going out to Connecticut Avenue at Northwest.
Okay, we'll come back on and I'll run the whole piece down.
Yeah, when you finish the show, we'll come back and deal with it.
Thank you for one more thing before I leave.
Real
Kathy
quick.
Hughes. Kathy Hughes.
All right, hold that thought, because we got to take the break here. They tell me we got 10 seconds right here on AM 1450 and FM 95.9 WOL, where information is power.
Radio.
And then just staying with us, folks, just want to remind you, coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be joined by Professor Leonard Jeffries. We're going to talk about the role of economics in the development of civilization and what he means in the era of Donald Trump. We were with Gregory, and he's got a date. Freddie just told me to make sure that you're on time. I'm going to be blamed if you don't make it over to the Improv on Connecticut Avenue Northwest by 6 o'clock. That's showtime. But the show's sold out. I'm telling you this, folks, so don't try to get over there, because there are no more tickets. Been sold out for months. But Greg's going to be in the district next month with Paul Mooney. We'll tell you more about that. Greg, you wanted to say something before you leave?
I was saying about Kathy. I worked with Kathy, and that's when my life changed. You know, people hear you, and they say, wow, listen to Carl. They don't know how many years you put into this. They don't know the rhythm. I learned the rhythm, not from being a comic. That rhythm don't work when you're talking about discovering things. And so me and Kathy sit there, what a genius. I read paper. You've been around me. I get every paper I can find. Kathy just sits there and come out of spirit. So it was on a Friday night. We on from 6 to 10. So I said, Kathy, we was finishing a show. She said, what are you talking about? I said, well, she owe you. No, I said, if the wench owe you any money, you better get it tonight, because she'll be dead by the end of the week. They killed her the next day. Huh? They killed her the next day. Huh? I know that. NBC don't know it. Huh? CBS don't know it. But I know it. If you're stupid enough to believe that. And so when you stop and think about it, the last question I'm going to ask you, you ever heard the word tall, dark, and handsome?
Yes, I've heard that phrase.
You ever heard him called Sidney Poitier tall, dark, and handsome? You ever heard him called Harry Belafonte tall, dark, and handsome?
No, not to those brothers.
That's a phrase that they use for white men that they know is passing. Clark Gable, Rudolph Valentino. That's why you never heard it. So that's what this is about. And so again, I say, here's y'all's homework. The killing happened on the 17th of June. And I just want you to Google this. Google 2 days later, on the 19th of June, in South Carolina, $29 million was fast-tracked to give to the victims' kinfolks. Did you hear that before? Did you hear that? It's $3.2 million per family? Huh? And nobody knows about it but a handful of people. All you got to do is Google it. 2 days after the shooting. You know how long it takes to go? This was the Justice Department fast-tracked $29 million to pay the victims of the family. Okay? So that's all I'm saying. It happens every day. Every day. And what y'all fixing to see Trump do, most of you wish you was never born. Okay? That's what's fixing to happen, and you can't feel it, you can't see it. But if me and Carl applied for a job collecting garbage, the first thing we get it, they're going to ask us to bring in our tax return. Here's a man running for president of the United States, and he don't need no tax return. Instead of y'all saying, wait, that's impossible. Hey, wait a minute. And so again, I just thank you, Carl. I thank what you put out, and tell Brother Jeffrey, he took my 2 babies to Africa. Him and his wife. I was so embarrassed. I'm the blackest thing on the planet. Giving $1 million to the movement, and I told my 2 oldest, y'all going to Africa. You know what Dick Gregory's children told him? We don't want to go to Africa. They'll eat us. I said, what'd you say? They'll eat us. Now, all you got to do is be clever. I said, okay. My wife was upset. We couldn't believe that was coming out of a Gregory. I said, well, y'all don't have to go to Africa, but you're never going to go back to Disneyland again. And so they went to Africa. Ask Leonard, or he'll tell you, Jeffrey. They went to Africa with Leonard Jeffrey, his wife, and a group, so they could go back to Disneyland. And after they went to Africa, they never wanted to go back to Disneyland.
Wow, what a story. Yes, what a story. Greg, be safe out there now, because I don't want you speeding out there getting up Connecticut Avenue.
No. Won't even happen. I know the shortcut.
Okay, yeah, because you heard what the traffic was like. It's just crazy out there.
It's always like that. It's snowing here.
Yes.
Yeah, but
light snow, so that makes it a little worse. But
okay.
But all the folks are probably in their seats waiting for you to show up.
Thank you.
The early ones. Thank you, Greg.
Well, you know what? I'm like you. You're the star of that show, and that makes you get there on time.
Yeah, okay.
You ain't never missed a day.
Well,
I love you, brother.
I know you're going to be on time. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, baby. Bye-bye.
All right.